Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin was an incredible storyline showing us the last living Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and his journey to avenge his brothers. With its success, of course, it's assumed we would get a sequel. So the next thing that they wrote was The Lost Years, which gives us two separate storylines as they intertwine. We're gonna get story 1 of how Mikey went from failing to seeing his dead brothers and why he went home to end the battle. And we're also going to look in on April's daughter trying to train and raise the 4 new turtles who have been left to carry on the legacy after the death of Mikey. When I first started reading this one, I kind of thought that it was just a cash grab, that it wasn't really going to be interesting at all. But as I began to read it and you get to see the struggle that Mikey goes through, I got kind of excited about it and I wanted to bring it to you guys because I know there's a lot of Last Ronin fans here on the channel as well. If you're wondering what we do here, this is Comicstorian. I take comic books, I turn them into audio dramas, which allows you to know what you should be heading to your local comic book store and buying and adding to your collection. We give you a quick synopsis of the storylines so that you know what's happening. And if you enjoy this type of video and want to see more videos that we put out as we cover a lot of DC, Marvel, and other videos, consider hitting that notification bell and turning on notifications. Right now, only 200,000 of our subscribers actually have those on, so if you're one of the people that says you're unaware that we've released a new video, that's why. We generally release a new one every morning. Now let's get into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, Lost Years 1 and 2. After the passing of Michelangelo, after the final battle with Oroku Hiroto, the young Casey Marie thought that she should keep Mikey's legacy alive by training the next generation of turtles based off of Master Splinter's old journal. She soon learns that trying to keep 4 adolescent turtles to pay attention is a bit harder than it seems. While Yi and her brother Odin are in a headlock, Odin struggles, stating that his tummy hurts, and his other sister, Moja, says that he's always hungry. Their fourth brother, Uno, then says that Odin is a fatty and that's why. Moja tells him that that's not nice. Take it back. The 4 continue to bicker with one another, and as things start to get out of hand, April walks in stating that now is a good time for a timeout. Seeing how the children listen to April, Casey sighs. She says that she can't begin to fix these kids. And April turns. What's there to fix? They're just babies. And when did training them become something that needed to happen? As I remember it, Michelangelo's last entry was about knowing peace. Casey thinks about that. Maybe, if the fighting would have stopped, but with Hiroto gone, there's a new power struggle in the city. We can't just sit around and wait for something bad to happen. April tells her that that may be true, but she needs to do this in baby steps, especially with babies. She's also pretty sure that there is something in Splinter's old journal about failure. Casey looks at her. Yeah. It says defeat is only real if you let it be real. Which, back in the time where the training began, would have been the same for Michelangelo during his time of arriving back in New York. After the loss of Master Splinter and his brothers, he had given up. Everyone had died. This left him with nothing to live for. So he found a large, unforgiving mountain to climb and meet his own end. As he reached an old, broken home, he laid down to die, but his body wouldn't let go. A voice in his head told him that this was not his destiny. By the time spring had arrived, he still had not died. So he figured that he'd get busy surviving, and it seemed like the universe agreed. For 3 years, Michelangelo did feel as though he had found some peace, but as unexpectedly as it had come, the time passed. Some of the locals found their way to his personal shrine and mindlessly attacked him. But Mikey wasn't in any hurry to stop them. Instead, Mikey welcomed the pain, the death to come, and he imagined what his family would say if they were there. Donnie would say something about the irony of these men calling him a monster. Leo would criticize the sloppiness of their attacks, and Raph would probably just say something tough like, "Is that all you got, punks?" And Father? What would Father have said? And the words, "Get up, foolish child," ring out in Michelangelo's mind as he's brought back in time to when he was fighting alongside everyone when things looked bleak. He remembered a time when he looked at a mound of bodies piled up at his feet. Splinter told him to get back up. His brothers had nearly broken through the last line of Foot Clan defenders. "Oroku Saki's head and vengeance will soon belong to the Hamato clan. This is what I have trained you all your life for. This moment, now get up and rejoin the fight, Michelangelo." There was a moment where Mikey said he couldn't, but Splinter told him to hear him well, that this is not his destiny, that he will not leave him here to meet a coward's end. A coward? No, Mikey was no coward. This is not his destiny. It was time to get up and fight. As one of the attackers were about to deliver a final blow, Michelangelo instead grabbed the axe from the man's hand and tore out his stomach. He then looked at the others, calling them cowards, killing just to kill. No respect for life, no honor, no mercy. Years of rage, loneliness, grief, and guilt all began to pour out, and these men never stood a chance. But when it was done, the fatigue set in. From the battle, from his life. This wasn't supposed to be his end. This was not his destiny. This mountain sanctuary, with its false promises of peace and resolution, was never his destiny. No more than fooling himself that he could quit his family's long war against the Foot Clan. Redemption for his family, that's his destiny, to the end. As Michelangelo journeyed back down the mountain, he found the nearby village that he passed through years before had been set ablaze. The people here were poor farmers and shepherds. They were peaceful, hard workers, doing what they could to survive. Who would do something like this? Through the smoke, one of the earlier attackers yells,
"There it is, the monster who attacked us in the hills."
Rage began to set in again. Mikey attacked them? Using all of his brother's weapons, Michelangelo ripped through the raiders, killing any and all that would raise a hand against him. The man who escaped the worst of it before begging him not to hurt him. Michelangelo drove his sword into that man's stomach. There, now I attacked you. And then a weak voice calls out to Mikey, telling him that he needs to go before he returns. Michelangelo ran over to help the wounded man, asking what happened. Who will return? And the old man says, the Death Worm. He is all things evil. Leave now while you still can. You will not survive if you dare face Death Worm's army. Alone. Alone? That word alone caused Michelangelo to pause. But really, when was he ever truly alone? A voice asks, "What's it gonna be, Chucklehead? You just gonna sit there crying like a baby? Or are you gonna do what the old man told you and get moving?" That's when Michelangelo saw the ghosts of his dead brothers at his backside. Back in the present, the 4 new turtle ninjas are in training, going about their duties cleaning the dojo, when suddenly Odin drops his glass to the floor and sighs. Sensei's going to be mad. Yi tells him yeah, because he was supposed to be mopping, not drinking. Odin then asks the others if they can help him clean it up because he's scared of sharp things. Everyone tells him that he needs to do it on their own because they're busy with their own things. Odin begins to cry. Casey Marie steps out asking what's going on, and Odin says that he's sorry, and he asks if she's mad for breaking his cup. She tells him no, but she'd like to tell them a little story. Long ago, when her father worked with the Ninja Turtles, they were sent on an important mission to stop the Foot Clan from stealing things that didn't belong to them. Like always, Leonardo was in charge, and just when he was going to give the orders to grab the bad guys, her father saw something else happening. Some other bad guys were getting ready to be mean to a poor lady. It made her father really mad, and he wanted to help the lady. At first, the Turtles didn't want to go because they were supposed to stop the Foot Clan, but her dad didn't listen and went to help the poor woman anyway. Even though they knew it would mess up their mission, the Turtles followed. The point being that sometimes you can get so caught up in what you're supposed to be doing that we ignore what we should be doing, like helping out one of our teammates when they're in trouble. Yi says, "Wow, Grandpa Casey and the Turtles were so cool. Do you ever miss them, Grammy April?" April laughs. "I do, but sometimes it's just like they're still here." However, we haven't ended Michelangelo's story in the past. His brothers all appeared to him as ghosts, and after leaving the sanctuary in the mountains, he set out to find the leader of the raid group that attacked the small village, the Death Worm. Though he thought it may only take a few days, his search turned into weeks and months and even years. He'd stick to the forest and only travel at night, often having Donnie tell him which plants he should eat and which to avoid. Either that or he just knew after spending years in the mountains already. He wasn't sure anymore. The constant jabbering of his dead companions made it hard to separate the past from the present, reality from delusion. He wasn't sure if he was crazy or concussed, and it didn't seem like they were in any hurry to go away. And as lonely as he was, Michelangelo wasn't in any hurry to let them go. But even still, That didn't stop them from arguing and dredging up his past. After many more months of aimless wandering, Leo asked, what exactly are they doing? Aren't they supposed to be looking for Deathworm? But at this point, Mikey had had enough. He yelled that there isn't any we in this. He is getting ready to go farther south as soon as the sun is down, and they are dead.
So?
Raph asks him.
What's that got to do with you hiking your sorry butt all the way down to Japan?
Michelangelo shouts, it's got everything to do with everything. I'm here because someone couldn't keep their sai in their pants when Karai ambushed us back then. I'm here because somebody started a war that killed everyone I ever cared about, including yourself.
Yeah, maybe I did make a mistake after that ambush. Maybe that mistake started things rolling downhill for us. But we all knew it was coming one way or another. Us against the Foot Clan, like Master Splinter said.
He's right. We're dead, and you're not. And neither is Hiroto. He's the last of his family, just like you, which means that you're the only one left to finish what Raph started when he went after Karai.
What are you saying then, Mikey?
Mikey looks at him. I know where I'm going now. Maybe deep down I always knew. It's time to go back to New York City to stand or fall.
Haha, now you're talking, Mikey!
Am I? Because it's getting harder to tell these days. However, Mikey just couldn't go back, not in his current condition. Leo was right about a few things, and his technique had been getting a little rusty. So Leo suggested that they seek out the secret Hamato clan elite training camp that their father once wrote about, which happened to not be too far away from where he was now. The easiest way there was to take a boat, but being a giant mutant turtle, it wasn't exactly easy to obtain a boat without getting noticed by Deathworm's goons. So Mikey boarded a cruise ship that was bound for Russia through one of Korea's ports. It was smooth sailing until it wasn't. While trying to keep a low profile, Mikey was talking with his brothers when a passenger overheard him and asked, who the hell is he talking to? Of course, it was more of Deathworm's men, and by this time, Deathworm put out a notice to capture Michelangelo for what he did back in the small village. Mikey made short work of them too, but his peaceful trip to the hidden island was cut short, and he was forced to swim the remaining way. The swim to the island was way harder than he expected. It was a miracle that he didn't drown. As Mikey washed up on the shore, he met an old man and his dog, but he was too tired to even respond. After a few days of rest, Mikey wakes up asking where is he, and the old man tells him that generally speaking, he's on Chiburijima Island, specifically in his guest hut. The fine lady accompanying him is Nori, his Shurin, and a very good dog. As for him, he's Master Yip of the Hamato clan, the elite master that he seeks. Mikey says that he doesn't mean to offend, but he is speaking Japanese, but he is. Master Yip says, a Chinese man, yes, and you are a turtle man. Clan Hamato is wonderfully diverse, is it not? Now come outside when you are ready, Michelangelo. We're going to begin your training. Mikey asks him how did he know, and Yip tells him that he's been in and out of consciousness for nearly 2 days, mumbling and moaning all the while. This is how he learned what he is called and what he seeks. Now finish your soup, Michelangelo. Yip then looks to Nori, asking, what does one call soup for a turtle? Nori barks and Yip laughs. Haha, yes, turtle soup. Once Michelangelo is able and ready, it is time for him to begin his training. And as any great training begins, it starts with the art of Shojido, the way of cleaning. Traditionally, students would clean the dojo together, a way of showing respect and a way of giving thanks to their sensei. But being the only student there, it gave Mikey a real workout. But that was only the beginning. After cleaning before weapons training, Michelangelo had to return to the basics, learn to fight without anything but his fists. And as soft of an approach as it seemed, Master Yip would remind Michelangelo that he should not mistake softness for weakness. So the days turned to weeks, the weeks turned into months, and the months turned into a year. And nearly 18 months after beginning his training, it was time for Michelangelo to set back out. But before going, Master Yip wanted to leave Mikey with one last bit of wisdom. He knows Michelangelo's family tragedy, his self-imposed exile into Japan, his flight from the one called Deathworm, and his mission of vengeance against the Foot Clan. One thing that he must know is that his father came here to train. He too held a burning desire for revenge against the enemies of his family, and like him, he made it his life's purpose to see his quest through. But first he must win the battle that he wages within before embarking on a bloody vendetta against others. So with it, he will end things with a question. Can he honorably rush to face one enemy when he fearfully retreated from another? As Mikey left, that question burned within him. It was more like a challenge than a question. Take down Deathworm first, then go after Oroku Hiroto. By the time the night fell, Michelangelo managed to row himself to South Korea, or rather, the unified Korean Republic. While gathering information due to his time away, Mikey learned that there was a massive earthquake in China not long ago. The destruction took out a lot of China's nuclear facilities, turning most of the country into an irradiated wasteland. The Chinese government pretty much collapsed overnight, and any control they had over the other nations was lost, starting with North Korea, and the unification of South Korea quickly followed. It was hard to tell where the crime stopped and where the law started. It all seemed to just blend together, which made finding Deathworm all the much more harder. Either nobody knew where he was, or they weren't going to tell him. After weeks of sleeping in alleyways and eating from dumpsters, Mikey decided he had had enough. Deathworm was more of a ghost than his brothers, and if he didn't get some real food in him, he was going to be one soon. So Mikey sold half of his equipment for a few bucks to get himself a hot meal in a warm place where he could sit and think. While bickering with his brothers, he noticed one of the men playing pool had the same tattoo as all of Deathworm's men. He confronted that man asking, "What does it mean?" "Who are you?" "The green freak you've been looking for." Using his newly refined training, Mikey made short work of the men. A broken pool stick here, a crack of the wrist there. But Mikey disarmed the man with the broken beer bottle and he held it to the man's throat. "Where is Deathworm?" And easily enough, he got the answer. Mongolia. After that, Mikey gathered up what gear he had left, borrowed an old wreck, and set out for Mongolia. Leo asked him if he had a plan, and Mikey told him yes. Go there, find Deathworm, take him down, and go for revenge. Good. But really, I just hope that we make it there in one piece. We all know you suck at driving, Mikey. Donnie chimed in. And that is issues 1 and 2 of The Lost Years. Now, I wasn't expecting this when I started reading this story. I actually thought it was just going to be a quick cash grab because they were promoting all the brand new Turtles. So I thought this whole story was nothing but the brand new Turtles and kind of ignored it at issue 1. But as you can tell, this is more of a story about Mikey's journey to get back to New York. I think this is great. I'm actually really enjoying this. And I hope you guys are as well. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when our next videos are coming out. And we really do need you guys to turn on notifications or give us engagement or give us a like. I would really appreciate it on a personal level, and I love doing this job and would love to keep doing it, so please consider these things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next time when the next issue comes out for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, The Lost Years.